This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so good morning, team. In this Azure Data Engineer Master Program. So in today's session, we will be talking about Azure Synapse Notebooks introduction and MS Spark utils commands we'll be discussing in today's session. So we will learn Apache Spark for Synapse. This is the component that we are using along with the Synapse Notebooks. Synapse Notebooks introduction. What is Synapse Notebooks and all we will understand. Synapse Notebooks key features. Why we need to go over Synapse Notebooks. What are the key features of the Synapse Notebooks we will understand. Synapse Notebooks use cases. Introduction to the MS Spark utils. Mount ADLS Gent in Synapse Notebooks. So MS Spark utils basically use it to interact with the file system, meaning to read the to move the files, to rename the files, to copy the files, right? So multiple other use cases we have. If you want to call other notebook from current notebook, so all those things we'll discuss. So these MS Spark portals, in order to make use of it, we need to connect to some of the storage accounts. So that's where I'll be creating a data lake storage gen 2. So from the Synapse notebook, I'll show you how to connect to the data lake storage gen 2. Okay, let's start with Apache Spark for Synapse. Already we discussed this. Apache Spark is a key component of Azure Synapse Studio, providing enterprise with the ability to perform Spark-based analytics alongside traditional SQL-based analytics. We have two pools in the Synapse. One is dedicate SQL pool and a Spark pool. Within SQL pool, again we know serverless and dedicated SQL pool. So that is separate. So that is basically traditional SQL based analytics. Still we have within the Synapse we can able to use. But if you really wanted to do enterprise level data transformation using the Spark pool, still this particular Spark pool is also available. But how you can make use of this Spark pool is within the Synapse notebooks, you can able to write the code and you can able to execute that code through this particular Spark pool. What are the key benefits of using Apache Spark for Azure Synapse? It is integrated security. We have a built-in security feature for data production, fully managed provisioning. So basically, when you create a cluster, just you need to say how many nodes you need, how many computers you need. So that is the advantage. No infrastructure management is required. Everything will be taken care by the cloud provider, Azure Synapse. Seamless integration from the Azure Synapse Spark cluster, using Spark cluster from the notebooks. Easily we can connect to Azure services like database, key vault, data lake storage, and blob storage. And these Synapse notebook supports a multiple language support we have. We can use Python, Scala, C Sharp, SQL for analytics, meaning this Spark supports multiple languages. Spark, you can write it in Python, Scala, C Sharp, SQL for analytics. Machine learning, you can also leverage the popular libraries of the machine learning like Spark, ML, Lib, and those from the Anaconda Python distribution for machine learning task. If you want to execute any machine learning task, you can make use of the machine learning libraries to develop the machine learning models within the Synapse notebooks. Spark for data engineers and data scientists, and ways to use Apache Spark. Spark notebooks, it is ideal for data scientists and data engineers to analyze data using Scala, PySpark, C Sharp, or Spark. Spark job definition, if you see, for running the batch Spark jobs using jar or Python file, you can go with the Spark job definition. Generally, notebooks are what are notebooks? Notebooks are a individual, like you, it is kind of interactive notebooks where you can execute. You can write a bit and pieces of code and execute and see result immediately. But when you say batch, you have to write entire code in a file and you need to submit that file. That is called batch Spark job. Okay. Any questions, Tim, here? Any questions, Tim? Okay, the summary is we are going to use the Spark pool, meaning Spark based analytics using the Azure Synapse notebooks. So this Spark pool, basically there won't be like, it has a inbuilt security for your data. There is no infrastructure is required. It like you can able to use Spark to connect to the various source systems or things you can say. It has multiple languages to write a Spark code. You can use Python, Scala, any language. It also supports the machine learning libraries. So mainly data engineers and data scientists are going to use this for analyzing the data. Okay, that's what we discussed in the summary. Now, introduction to the Synapse notebooks. If you see, Azure Synapse notebooks are a powerful tool for data engineers, data scientists, and analysts to work with the big data in Azure Synapse Analytics. Okay. Azure Synapse Notebooks is an integrated development environment within the Azure Synapse Analytics that allows data engineers, data scientists, and analysts to create and interactively execute code interactively in a notebook style format. So you already, okay, we haven't seen notebook style format, right? So basically you have a command, so you just have to execute a commands. Whoever aware the Databricks, it is very similar to Databricks. Okay, it provides a platform to explore and analyze data. It performs complex data transformation and build the machine learning models using mix of SQL, Python, Scala, and R. Okay, we can also build the machine learning models using the mix of languages. These notebooks provides a platform to explore and analyze and apply the complex data transformation using the Spark pool. Remember this, okay? Synapse Notebooks key features, if you see it, it is interactive development. You can write and execute code in a cells and enabling step-by-step exploration and iterative development. So you need to just write a statement, execute it, and you can see the result whether it is working or not. That's a interactive development. Built in Apache Spark. It utilizes the Apache Spark for large-scale distributed data processing directly within the notebooks. So we will be executing the code that we have written in the notebooks with the help of this Spark. Spark process the large scale distributed data processing. Integrated environment. So our Synapse notebooks is using Spark. So using the Synapse notebooks, we can connect to the different Azure service like Azure Storages, Azure Data Lake Storage, and Azure Machine Learning. So different source systems that you can able to connect. Rich visualization, you can create some kind of a Power BI tableau, how they create some kind of a graphs, right? So those graphs you can able to create within the notebook itself. I'll show you. So once you create a result and data frame, you read data, apply transformation, you get the final output. On top of that output, you can also create a visualization. So reporting also you can create within the notebooks. You can create a parameters in the notebooks for uh, passing inputs and outputs dynamically for reuse to create a reusable pipeline or reusable notebook. We can able to parameterize our notebook. Scheduling and automation. Once you create a notebook, this notebook you can able to schedule it from the our Synapse pipeline. Okay, already we have seen how to execute a Databricks notebook from ADF, right, using notebook activity. Similarly, Synapse notebook also you can execute it from the Synapse pipeline using notebook activity. We have a different layer of security, RBAC and Azure Active Directory managed identity. Zero setup effort, meaning notebooks can be easily created without using any complex configuration. It is very just with one click you can create the notebooks. You will see multi-language support, as you know. So this Synapse notebook supports Python, Scala, SQL, C Sharp, and R within the same notebook. You can just use the magic commands to write a multiple language code within the same notebook. Generally, we choose one language and we will write enter code in one language. Sometimes Python and SQL is we will mix it. That is very common in real time. So we will see. Okay. Next, Synapse Notebooks use cases. If you see, it is mainly used for data exploration and analysis, data preparation, machine learning, data visualization, and collaboration. Collaboration means you can write some code and you can share that code with your team members. right? So multiple people can able to work on the same notebooks. That kind of a collaboration will be there. Okay, these all are self-explanatory. Okay, that is all about theory. Now onwards, whatever we are discussing is we are going to see practically same things in the Synapse notebooks. mssparkutils commands, if you see mssparkutils is a built-in package in Azure Synapse Notebooks that provides a set of utilities to simplify common tasks and enhance your workflows. It is designed to make working with the big data in Synapse more efficient and streamlined. So key functionalities of the msspark utility commands are file system, environment variable, notebook flow, chaining and execution, secret management. Okay. First of all, let's understand msspark commands. msspark utility commands. Whoever learned Databricks, they know DB utils will be there in Databricks. Very similarly, Microsoft, MS means Microsoft, Spark utilities. Okay, Microsoft Spark utilities. Remember, this MS Spark utilities commands are used to interact with the file system. For example, now I connected to the storage account. Within the storage account, I want to create a one folder and I want to copy file from one place to one folder to another folder, or I want to move the file from one folder to another folder, or I want a folder, or I want to delete a file. Okay, so I want to list down what is the content that we have within this folder. So if you want to do all these kind of things, then you need to use a file system commands. Using MS Spark utils, you have a something called file system commands that we can able to use to do all these things. Next, environment variable means, so you want to understand in this environment which user is executing, what is the job ID, okay, what is the job name. So if you want to know these kind of things, you need to go with the environment variables. So again, in order to get job id, username, all these things, who is executing all these things, you need to go for a MS Spark utilities. Using MS Spark utilities, you can able to get all these environment related information. Next, MS Spark utilities for notebook chaining and execution. Let's say I have a one notebook, I have another notebook, and I have another notebook. Now, on success of this notebook, I want to execute this. On success of this notebook, I want to execute this. Now, if you see, there is a chaining on success of this, on success of this. So, on chaining and execution means once this execution finished, next I am executing. On success of this, I am executing this. This is how you can able to execute the notebooks in the chaining fashion, one after the another. You can say in the technical terms, to execute the notebooks in the dependency manner. When you have a dependency between the notebook execution, you can go with these commands. Finally, secret management. Let's say I have a notebook. From the notebook, now I am connecting to the let's say I'm connecting to the data lake storage. So when you are connecting to the data lake storage, basic what information you need to, storage name, storage username and password, or storage key. Now tell me, storage key is a secure information, sensitive information, or not sensitive information? Tell me, please tell me what you will do. So that key is a sensitive information or not? First of all, tell me that key is a sensitive information or not? Yes, it's a sensitive information. When it is a sensitive information, what you need to do? When it is a sensitive information, what we need to do? We already done it. I'm expecting answer from you. Will you hard code the, very good, Sampath. So we need to use a keyword. So the secret management commands are used to connect to the keyword to read the sensitive information into the notebooks. Secret management, what it does, It helps to read the sensitive information from the key vault into the notebooks. Okay, that is all about the secret management. These are the key functionalities of MS Spark utilities. You will get to know more today. We will start the hands-on on the MS Spark utilities. But MS Spark utils, in order to even if you want to connect to the data lake storage agent, we will be using a MS Spark utilities. Mounting ADL agent in Synapse notebooks allows you to directly access files and directories from your data lake storage account within your notebook. So for example, what is the advantage of mounting is, once you connect to the data lake from the Synapse notebook, now after connection you can access directories, you can access the files directly. Okay, so this basically simplifies the data accessing manipulation, making it easier to work with a larger data set. We can simply it is directly, we can able to read it, we can apply whatever transformations that we want it to do. It is easy. So key functionalities we just have seen. So once we create a mount point, we can able to do all these things, Tim. I'll show you that. But how to create a uh, mount point is, you see, first file system utility I started using MS Spark utilities. FS, what is meant by FS? File system. FS means file system. MS Spark utilities dot fs dot mount. This is the container. Container means folder in this storage account I am giving, and I am giving a linked service. I am giving what? Linked service to connect to this particular storage from the notebook. Once I connected, I want to point to this particular container using some name. Maybe you can give same name here, or you can give a different name. So here you need to give the mount name. This is the your path. This is the configuration. Okay. Now second way is, you can also give the account key instead of the linked service. Storage account key also you can give within the Synapse notebooks to connect to the data lake storage. Today I'll show you like we'll see what we can able to complete. Yeah. Okay. But ultimately today first I'll try to create a connection to the data lake storage gen 2, and I'll establish the mount. I'll create a mount point. So once I create a mount point, I'll try to complete all the data bricks. Sorry, I'll try to complete MS Spark utilities file system commands. I'll complete it today because there will a lot of commands will be there in the file system. We'll complete it those things today. So tomorrow we will understand uh, I think today itself we will understand even environment. Tomorrow we will try to understand the notebook chaining and secret management. MS Spark. Okay. Go to Synapse Analytics. Create a Synapse Analytics. Cloud Pandit iPhone. Dev iPhone RG. Click OK. Data Lake is Cloud Pandit. Synapse ADLS. Click Review plus Create. Okay. So now what I will do, because the data lake which is created along with the Synapse workspace, if I connect, you may think that as it is already connected with the Synapse, that's why we are able to connect. So that's why what I'll do, I'll create a separate data lake and I'll show you how to connect from the Synapse notebook so that you'll get more confidence. If I use the data lake which is already connected with the Synapse, you will feel if it is outside of Synapse, will you be able to connect or not? All these doubts will be there. That's why to avoid that, I'll create a separate data lake which is outside of the Synapse, and I'll connect to this particular data lake from the Synapse notebooks. Okay, Cloud Pandit ADLS. Then click on next, enable hierarchical namespace. Click review plus create. Click creative. Come to Synapse workspace. Let's wait for 2-3 minutes. It will be available. Okay, so let's go to resource now. Resource group. Let's open the Synapse workspace. Okay, open Synapse Studio. Manage. So first thing that we need to do is under manage, if you go to Apache Spark pool, we need to create a Spark cluster. Okay, that is very important thing. Click on new. So Spark pool, isolated compute, disable. Isolated compute means, so your compute will be totally handled separately in the isolation, so it will not be shared with other people. But as you know, it is development environment, it is just for training purpose, that is not really required for us. What type of node you need? Memory optimized? Yes, I need memory optimized. Only memory optimized Spark clusters only available at this moment. And the size of the computer, I need a 4 cores 32 GB memory computers. How many computers you need? So I am disabling the auto scaling. Okay, auto scaling means what? So this is kind of a, you have a bulk products. When you really, it is kind of rental bikes, rental cars. Let's say you have a group of friends who want to go out, right? So we don't know how many people are going to come at the end of the day. So at on demand, if 10 people are coming, then 5 bikes we will take and we will go. If only 5 people are coming, then we will take 3 bikes and we will go on the demand. How many you want, you need to take it. Let's say once your work is done, you can revert, give them back. Similarly here also, auto scaling means minimum 3 computers always will be given, but if you really want it, you can take up to 10 computers. Again, when you don't require 10 computers, you can give it back up to 7. You are saying always I needed 3 computers, but when I really need it, I may take up to 10. You are telling Spark cluster, right? Spark cluster while running the jobs. If you feel that you don't have enough resources, you take up to 10 computers to execute the jobs. Don't take beyond 10 computers. If you feel you don't have any work to do, please shut down all the computers, maintain only 3 computers at any time. That is what we are saying. But at this moment, we don't require that. I am reducing the computers. I am fixing always. No increase, no decrease. Always it has to run with a minimum of 3 computers. Estimated price for uh, price cost, if you see, if I am increasing the computers, it is increasing. So minimum you can't take 2. Okay, see, you can't take minimum 2, minimum 3 you need to take. It will charge us 140 rupees per hour. Okay, it is okay. Now dynamically allocate executors means, in case some executors are freed, so it should able to assign to some other job. But currently I have only one job, so this option, whether you are enabling, disabling, doesn't matter. Click on review plus create. Click on create it. Now Spark pool is going to come. In order to create a Synapse notebooks, again you need to go to develop. Click on this. Click on a notebook. Just with a single click, the notebook is ready. This is what your notebook. Now to this notebook, you need to attach the cluster. What is cluster you just created? It will be available in a minute, but in order to fully functioning, okay, in order to really start that cluster, it takes 4-5 minutes. Again, and this is where a lot of our time is going to be wasted. See, Spark pool I just attached. Now it is not really started, it is just assigned the computers. But to start the computers, I am just executing one of the command. You just write a equal to 10, and here you see something called run cell. Just I am doing a run cell. Now here you can see one message will come which says, please wait few minutes. Few minutes means at least it takes 3 to 4 minutes to start those computers. It is starting Apache Spark, meaning it is really starting the computer. Just as of now, to this particular pool, we asked for 3 computers. Cloud provider assigned 3 computers to this cluster. Now those three computers we are starting using this command. When you execute a first command, it will start creating. Okay. By the time this this is available, okay, before I move on and create the other things, let me show you what is each of this. Okay, the command is already executing. If you want to cancel it, you see something called cancel cell. Okay, now if you want to create a new cells, so it is interactive notebook where you can execute bit and pieces of code, I said, right? So this is one command, this is the second command. If you want third command, let's say if you want to put something print a, okay, you can do it. Or you want to put print welcome to cloud Pandit, so you can just put it like this, all the commands. Now let's say what happens, sometimes you may want to execute all, run all above this cell. Run all above this cell means except this cell, all above cells will run. For example, same if I execute here, run all above this cell means except this cell, all above cells will execute one after the another. Now from here, if I say run this cell and all below means it will run this cell and all below cells. Okay. Along with this, there are some shortcuts to execute. The shortcuts to execute this notebook say this command says control enter, you can do it will just execute this. But let's say if you have a, instead of control enter, if you do shift and enter, what happened when I do a shift and enter team, it executed this command and it created a new cell. But if you use a just, now I am doing control shift, if you do a control shift, only to execute that command, cursor is still here. But now if I execute shift and enter, what happens, it will execute this command, it will move the cursor to the next command. That is the difference between the control enter and the shift enter. Control enter means it executes the cell. Shift enter means it is going to execute the command and it moves the cursor to the next line. See, now cluster is ready and it is running now. Okay team, see how much time it took, 3 minutes 4 seconds. Is it really should take that much time? No. Why it took this much time? Because cluster, just the nodes that we have in the cluster is started just now. See, just very quickly all these commands are executed. So it took less than 1 second, but this took 3 minutes 49 seconds. Now if I do once again, now 1 second. So to delete a cell, you can say something will delete cell, I deleted. Now you say I'm clicking here, okay, I'm saying run all, run this cell and all below. Now how much time it took, a equal to 10, less than 1 second. But earlier why it took that much time? Because it is starting the nodes. Understood? You can click on this. I think you can click on this here itself. Here also you can see run cells below. For example, if I keep the cursor here and if I say run cells below means along with this cell, everything it is going to run. But let's say if I am keeping a cursor here, okay, if I am keeping the cursor here and if I say here run all, run cells above means, remember this cell will not execute, remember this cell will not execute, all above cells will execute. What happened? One second. Run cells above. See, this was not executed. Run cell above. You see, this is not getting executed. These two only getting executed. You can see again and again. I will execute. Understood him? Run cell above means except the current cell, all above will run. Run all below means including this cell, everything will run. So same can be executed from here. Same can be executed from here. Okay. Now let's say I am deleting this. If you want to do undo that action, just click on undo. It came back. Understood him? Okay. Now next. So if you see here, there are a markdown language, markdown cell you have, clear cell output you have, next new comment thread you have. Here you have a just parameterization. Anyhow, these things we'll discuss later. This is for the delete cell. Now first let's start with the markdown. Markdown cells are used to put some kind. Oh shit, sorry. Yeah, so you need to create a let's say this is the code. When you are creating cell also, it is asking you want a code or markdown. So let's say initially I created a code cell. Now I want to convert into the markdown cell. You can just click on M. So this will become a markdown cell. Here you can put some kind of a comment saying that variable declaration. What is this? Variable declaration. I am able to say that. You can also put this way. Okay, understood. Yeah. So space you need to give. Okay, this is the variable declaration you can able to do. If you want to do some kind of a bold characters, you can still give the bold characters. Okay. So no need to worry too much on this. So just you can, it is used for putting some kind of a variable declaration you are putting. Okay, let's say you want to read some file. Let's say now I want to create a mount point, let's say. Okay, or let's say I want to introduce the MS Spark utilities. I'll say here introduction to MS Spark utils. So we can able to see those things here like this. Understood it? Variable declaration, introduction to MS Spark utils. So if you want bigger letters like this, if you want little bit smaller case, you need to put a 2 hashes. If you want much more smaller one, you need to put a one more hash. Like this, you can reduce the size of this. Introduction to MS Spark utils. Now click on code to write the code here. Next, if you see here, clear cell output. For example, here if you see output is already displayed right here. Now that output, if you want to clear, you need to just click on this clear cell output. Okay, here also there is output. If you want to clear cell output. Like this, you can able to do. Now comment. Let's say this is a equal to 10. I want to write some comment. So what you can do is you can say equal to 10. Say that this is this. Okay, something like this. I'm just putting some comment. Okay, see one comment. Whenever you want to see what is this value, if somebody wanted to come and see, you can just click on this. They can see what is this value. So while developing some things, if you want to inform to the downstream applications or anybody who is coming and reading this notebook, you can put some comments. If you want to delete this, you can delete this. You understood, right, Tim? Now if you go to outline, in the outline, whatever markdowns that you have put variable declaration, it will show. Now let's say directly I want to go to the page number introduction to MS Spark utils. See, normally even in our textbook there will be index page which tells you This lesson starts from which page? Similarly here all the table of content will be there. Whenever you want to go to particular topic, you can just click on that, directly you will go here. If you want to come back to the variable declaration, click on this, will come here. It is very easy to move. Okay, instead of just going through like this, like this, moving through hundreds of cells, you can just click on whatever you want to really look into it. You have to just click on that, you will move to that particular thing. If you want to save this notebook, you can publish it. Understood, Tim? Now if you see, this is the place where we have attached the this notebook to the cluster. Next, languages. If you see, these are the languages which are supported: Python, Scala, SQL, R, .NET, Spark, C Sharp, which is still in the development. Okay, this is still in the development, that's why it is not showing here. Okay, fine. Now let's understand mssparkutils.help. I want to understand what I can do on the mssparkutils. In the notebook, when I am explaining, I have explained to you, you can do on the four things. One is file system, you can work with the file system, notebook chaining, secret management, environment. These are the main four things that you can able to do. Okay, now if you come here, mssparkutils.fs.help, on the file system, what you can do, let's see. So on the fs, on file system, you can do lot of things. All these things you can able to do on the file system. Understood it? You can copy, you can do fast copy, you can move the data, you can list down the content, you can create a folders, you can create a file, you can read the file, you can append the data to the file, you can remove folder or file, you can check whether particular file is existed or not, you can check, you can create a connection to the storage account, you can remove the connection, you can check the existing connection. Okay, so all this information you have right on the file system. So this file system commands, I'll try to complete it today. But let's say I also wanted to go and see what I can do on the environment. Okay, so on environment, you can see, you can get a user. So you can get a user to return the username, you can get username, user ID, job ID, workspace name, pool names, cluster ID. So all these are the environment related information, you can get it. So this is also very useful for us. So you'll come to know when we started the things. So next, notebook.help. So notebook.help, like it has a two things. So exit, if you want to, let's say you have a notebook 1, this is a notebook 2. Okay, from notebook 1 you called the notebook 2. Now notebook 2 wants to send some output to the notebook 1. Okay, output. So how it can send is using exit. Like ms spark utilities dot notebook dot exit, we can use to return the output to the first notebook. If you want to run a like from the first notebook, if you want to run a second notebook, you can use the run mssparkutils.notebook.run notebook 2. So when I issue the command in the notebook 1, it will execute the notebook 2. If you want to run a multiple notebooks, you can able to run the multiple notebooks. Okay, so it is internal thing, don't worry about it. And finally, so we have a something called secret management. You can say credentials. What you have to credentials. So credentials dot help, if you ask, it will tell you, you can use, you can put the secret. Okay, you can get the secret, you can get the secret with the linked service, you can get the secret using keyword name and secret name. Okay, but we will be using this to get a secret with the linked service. We will create a linked service to keyword, using that we will be reading the secret. Okay, so a lot of like sensitive information, it is mainly for, you can say all these commands for the AKB, Azure keyword, to keep some data, to read the data using a different methods. Okay, so this is high level what we have in the MS Spark utilities. The first important thing is, now see, these are the four things. Now first important thing is, now we need to start working with the MS file system. Okay, MS Spark utilities. Within this file system commands, we need to start working with it. Now, so first thing that I will do is I'll use a mount function to create a connection to the data lake. I'll use a connection to the data lake. But how to connect to the data lake? How to connect to the data lake using, so now first command you can say mssparkutils.fs dot and fs. See, this is the I asked fs.help. On fs you have all these functions. So mount is also one of the function. Okay, mount. So what we need to keep within this mount, you can go to documentation, you can say mount can be created in a multiple ways. See, this is the one way, mssparkutils.fs.mount. So this is the path, test, linked service, my gen2 account. Okay, so this is how you can able to do it. So you can also do like this, source colon, next mount point colon, next extra config colon. Okay, so now you can get these things. Path is nothing but this one thing. This is the mount point. So next extra config is nothing but this is the dictionary. Understood? Everybody's clear? Now you need to give, I think, here also source mount point. Give the comma. So you can see the mount point source. First one is source, second one is mount point, third one is extra config. I just put the source is nothing but this path, the test is the mount point, extra config is this. Now, as per this, let's say I want to connect to this data lake storage. So in order to connect to this data lake storage, so first thing what we need is go inside this container. You can create a container called global. Now, can you tell me what is the container name? Global. Take this global, put that global here. Go here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is a storage. Dev ADLS. You take the storage name, put that storage name here. Okay. So mount name is same as a global. So I'm giving it as a same as a global. Understood? Slash global I am giving because I want to connect to the global. I want to connect to the global. So that's why I'm giving the global content. Mount point also same as your content. Now linked service to your storage account. Do you have a linked service for your storage account? Go to manage. Let's go to linked service. Click on linked service. Let's create a linked service for ADLS Gen 2. Test connection. You can create it. Now you have to take the name of the storage account. Sorry, name of this linked service. Go to develop. So within this notebook, what you need to do, you need to come down. Here you need to put your linked service name. This is the linked service name. So, but before I move on to execute this, I want to check, is there any existing connection? Fs dot, how to check existing connection is using mounts. Show the information about what is already mounted. Okay, mounts. Let's see, is there any mount point? So currently it is saying there is no mount point. Now let's try to create this. What it is saying, team? Okay, I think you need to give it as a equal to your Okay, this is how you need to create the connection. See, it is saying true. True means now if I execute this, do you think will I get something? Yes, let's see. Am I getting something here? So
Yes.
let me put it down because here we have not. So global is the container, okay, mount point, which is basically pointing to this storage account. This is the name of the container. Okay, fine. Now ms sparkutils.fs.ls slash global. So what it will give to if I execute this, what it will give? Anybody have any idea what it will give? So you can see ls is basically used for listing down. What it will list down? It will throw error. Okay, because normally people who are learning the data bricks, they may think that it will work straightforward. It will not work straightforward. Let me tell you few things here. You see something called get mount path. You need to ask for the get mount path. So here you need to say mssparkutils.fs dot get mount path. So you need to give your mount path. It will tell you the exact path that you need to access. It is telling you you need to access this path, not the plain this path. Okay, understood? Now if you ask this path, if you give this path, synapse file system slash notebook slash 0 slash global. Okay, now let's try to understand what is the problem. The path not from the specified path does not exist. Specified path does not exist, it is saying. Yeah, so you also need to add a file colon here. What you need to add? File colon. Now you can see it is saying square. Why? Because there is no folder. There is no folders. But you know how to create a folders within this through the ms spark utilities? Yes, ms spark utilities dot fs dot mkdirs. I want to create a folders inside this global. So what is the folder that I am going to create? Global slash india slash landing slash cust. This is a folder structure I am creating, and true, recursively it has to create all this folder structure. That's why I'm giving true. Let's see. Okay, I think recursive equal to true, you no need to give, it will create automatically. Let's see. Okay, fine. I just created this folder structure and given as a mkdirs. So for make directories, to create a directories, let's see. Now let's list down. It is saying India. Under India folder, what is there? Landing. Under landing, what is there? Cust. Under cust, what is there? Nothing is there. Same paths you can go and see here. We just created a global earlier. See, it is created 7 o'clock 10 minutes, 38 seconds India, landing, cust. But who created these folders? Through the ms spark utilities mkdirs I created this. Now I am using next command called put. So put is used to put some content in this first.txt. So I'll write welcome to cloud content. Synapse notebooks. So some kind of a content I have written to that file. So put is basically used to put this particular file in the path, and it will write this particular content into this file. Now let's list down the content. Okay. Now what we need to do? We need to list down the content. See, under cust folder, earlier it was not showing any content, but now it is showing cust.txt. Now I'll try to read it. mssparkutils .fs .head. See, these head, all these commands are used to read the content. Like maybe if you have a some kind of a 20 records or something like that, you can able to read. But if you have so much data, you can't read. See, it is showing now. But if you want to put it in a proper structure, you can print this output so that it will show it in a proper way. Welcome to Cloud Pandit. We are working with the Synapse notebook. These are the two lines of content that we have written into cust.txt. Are we good, team? So let's see quickly what all commands we covered as of now. First, we have seen mounts. Mounts is used for listing down the existing connections. Next, mount. Mount we have used to create a connection to the storage account. Get mount path. So here whatever mount path you have given, this is a temporary path. Like this is not the fully qualified name. So to get the fully qualified name of the mount path, you need to use this function to get full path. After that, I have added file system file colon. So this is the path. We have used ls for listing down, mkdirs for creating the folders, put is for putting file and writing some content, head for reading the content of the file. Are we all clear till here, team? Are we all good till here? If you want to see same file and content, you can also see the same file and content here. See custard.txt. So these are the internal files because we created automatically, right? That's why. Welcome to Cloud Pandit. We are working with the Synapse. Same content is there here. Now I want to create a one more folder. Okay, I'll create a two output folders. What I'll create? Two output folders I'll create. Carefully observe. So I'm creating output one. So in order to create a folder, mkdirs output one I am creating, and I am also creating output two. I'll show you what is the use of these two. Now I'll use m. Okay, I will use something called copy command. So copy from where? From the cust folder cust.txt. I want to copy into output one. Let's see, will I be able to copy or not? Okay, let's execute this. Okay, now if you go here, let's see whether output one is there. Yes, in the output one custard.txt file is copied. Yes. Now in output two we don't have. But tell me, in the cust folder we have that file or not? Yes, it is a copy. The same file will be there in the cust and the output one. Now I will do a move. Move means cut and paste. Now when I move the file, I'll be moving into the output 2. Where I am moving to? I'll be moving into the output 2. Now custard.txt, I am moving from cust folder to output 2. So you need to say mv. Mv is nothing but a move command. When I use move command, what happens to? So the file no longer available in the cust folder. This file is moved to the output 2. You can see. That's how the move command works. Now let's say now I want to delete this cust folder. Now what I want to do, I want to delete this cust folder, rm cust. Execute this. Let's go and see whether cust folder is available or not. Cust folder is available? No. So rm command is used to remove that. Now I also wanted to remove output one. Output one. Now try to remove it. It is throwing error. Why? Because output one folder is not empty, it is having some content. That's why now you need to say recursively first delete all the files in the folder, then finally you delete this output one also. See, true. Now if you go here, out files and the folder both got deleted from the output one. That's how you can able to use the rm command. Now let's go and see what all we covered. CP we covered. Fast copy means it just uses the some kind of a different method to copy, maybe you can use it, but same paths. Move we have learned, ls we have learned for listing down, created a folder, we have learned put is basically to create a file and write some data. Head for reading we have seen, append we have not seen, rm we have seen for removing, mount we have seen, unmount we have seen, mounts we have seen, get mount path we have seen. Okay, now only two commands left is append and exists. Now let's see. Now I'll just go and check the exist command is working or not. What it has to check, whether, okay, let's say first I'm asking output folder is existed or not. It is saying false, but output 2 folder is existed, I'm asking true, it is saying. Understood? Output 1, when I ask for exist, it said false, but when I ask for output 2, it is saying true. Okay, next, what is the command which is left to him? Put. Okay, I can come here. Now I want to do append. Append to what? Output to 2 is having a cust.txt, cust.txt. So into this I am adding a one more line. So that is, so that's all. That's all for file system commands. I'm just appending the content to the same file. Let's go and see whether within that file now this content is added or not. See now, that's all for file system commands. Is that added or not? Now if you want to really overwrite, you need to set true. Overwrite means what? So existing data it will remove, it will keep only this line. Let's see. Let me just append 1 second. Put overwrite equal to, I said true, right? But oh, sorry, append. Okay, append is not having that. I think while using put you can able to overwrite. Okay. Sorry, Tim. If you want to overwrite it, I think you need to use a put command. So now it will overwrite. Okay. Now if you come here, see here, it is overwritten. But why it went into the next line? Because I have used a /n at the beginning to move on to the next line, because earlier there is a content. Now if I remove that /n, now if you refresh it, the data will be shown at the first line. Okay, so that's how you can able to use even put command for overwriting. But if you just wanted to append, you can able to just use the append without this. Okay, yeah, that's all for today, team. Please let me know if you have any questions. Today we learned how to mount the data lake storage using linked service, and we have covered all the file system commands. Tomorrow I'll show you with key vault integrations using the like key vault integration means we will be also covering the secret management commands plus our environment variables also will be using in the tomorrow session. Okay, so two more db like ms spark utilities commands we will cover. Along with that, tomorrow we will see how to connect to the data lake storage gen 2 using the access key. So there is another way to create a mount point is access key we can able to use, account key we can able to use. So how you can able to do, see they are reading using the keyword and then we are connecting to the mount point. So here mssparkutils.credentials.get secret. So tomorrow we will see this. Any questions for today's session, please let me know.
So today we use the link service, right? To in order to read.
Yes, today we have used linked service to establish the mount point.
Okay.
And this is basically, this will not be there in the documentation as a source and all, but this is very similar in the Databricks, because it will be easy for you to understand. It is source, this is the mount point, it's an extra config. Okay, so this particular thing I am sharing with you, please keep this with you too. Okay, yeah, that's all for today. Please let me know if you want to export this particular notebook. You can simply export it as a IPython notebook, interactive Python notebook, HTML, plain Python. So this is a different format. I'm just exporting it as a plain Python. Okay, if you want to rename this notebook, you can see rename. If you want to take a copy of this, you can take a copy of this. Okay then? Any questions, please let me know, team. Anybody have any questions? So don't forget to delete these things. These are very costly. Clear? Okay, team. Final call. Any questions? Okay, if no questions, thank you.